Hi everybody, it's Phaedra Jade Star here, your Tantra coach and embodiment guru. I love being a disruptor of systems, and today we're going to do a course correct rather quickly. But first of all, before we get started, I want to just say this. I am not condoning, excusing, or advocating any behavior at all that is hurtful, harmful, or violent. I recognize through life, global events, and my own personal challenges that there is a lot of stuff going on in the world that can bring up a lot of energy, emotions, a lot of things. And in this video, I want to just make this very clear that at no time am I excusing anyone's behavior or their excuses to not become a better individual. Having said that, I'd like to dial back just a little bit here, guys, because what I have noticed, I am sitting on the Arizona heat. I've got a lot of little friends coming around and buzzing around me. What I have noticed through a lot of global expression is that we have done a really great job in trying to move healing and holistic messages along through helping people understand through more awareness and education on behaviors of men and how this affects women. While this is really, really good and it's super important that we understand what accountability is and what being responsible is and taking proper action, I would like to just pull back and do a little bit of, let's say, hovering over and observing. Let's just do a little witnessing here for a minute. The reason I want to do this is because we spend a lot of time talking about men's flaws, about how they are somehow tarnished and need fixing all the time. Sometimes we even have this message that men are beyond the capacity to be fixed. And I would like for you to just pull back and understand what that legitimately means energetically, consistently moving in that direction. Imagine, if you will, for a second, if we were to wake up tomorrow morning and we were to put on social media. All we heard on social media was that women were at fault for this. Women have major challenges with this. Women need fixing for this. Women are behaving this way. They're resentful. They're angry. They're repressed, they're confused, they're overwhelmed, they're behaving poorly, they're causing so much tragedy, they're really making a mess of life. And can you imagine how that would affect women on the daily? This would be an absurdance, honestly, because women would be like, I can't even imagine. And this is not to say, it's not that I'm trying to take shots or attacks on anyone, for people to understand very clearly what this means. If we were to just constantly pick at people for their negative or their wounds or their challenges all the time, that we leave little room to actually see the beauty and expansion of those that are already doing their work. While I can flip on social media and I can see just this constant rhetoric of how awful these men are, truth. A lot of men are not taking accountability. A lot of men have behaved very badly. A lot of men have been very violent. And let's talk about why that is, okay? Because we really get caught up in the behavior and not really talking about why that's occurring. This is always 100% the cause of a wound. Trauma, pain, not advocating, saying if there is, and there is a root cause to this behavior, that's what has to be addressed. Not that these people are bad, not that men can't be trusted, because if we were just to, again, move that into the paradigm of women, we could say exactly the same things about women, because we, as women, we need a lot of work too. So this is not just about trying to fix men and the world will be right. Everybody's got their work to do on both ends. Very true. Now, I want for a second, for those parents out there, me included, we're going to do two little exercises here. Both work. For parents, I want you to think about this. If you walk in today and all you do is nag your children, tell your kids what they don't do right, all the time, do this, you don't do this, blah, 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 how do your children feel? They don't feel seen, they don't feel appreciated, they don't feel loved, they don't feel recognized. And what that's going to cause is resentment, more anger, more challenge, more stress between parent and child. And then the other one, imagine you do this with your spouse. All you do is nag, 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 nag. You don't do this right. You don't do this right. No, 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 all the time. What kind of relationship are you going to have? Again, boom, boom, boom. Not an open one. So if we've got just one way of seeing things, even if we're saying, you could do this better, you could do that better, we're still moving a person into a space trying to make them into something, trying to validate what it is we need without working on ourselves. As parents, if we're too busy always seeing the worst in our kids, never giving our children the benefit of the doubt, telling our kids the great things that they do, showing up to recognize all of the beauty that they put into things, giving them rewards for the times when they actually step up and take responsibility, you're going to make a really hard life. Okay? Those parents that do these things that are actually, for every one crappy thing you say to your child, there should be 5 awesome things that you tell your kid about themselves, minimum. For people in a relationship, if you're really just nagging at a person, you're actually not communicating. First of all, you got to go into yourself, figure out what it is you need, what you're longing, what you're looking for, and figure out first and foremost how you can give that to you. And that's not to say that your partner shouldn't be showing up for you. That's not what I'm saying. But having expectations that your partner should fill you is not accurate. So how are we going to course change this very quickly, move this into a paradigm that needs to be moved in the right direction, is to start to celebrate those men that are doing their work, those great men who are absolutely amazing. Because we're always asking that question, aren't we, ladies? Where's all the good men? Well, all the good men are taken. No, they're not. They are not all taken. They're looking for exceptional women. And a lot of us women don't even know how to find a great man. We're just bumping into the dark places in the corners because we have never actually been taught first how to give love and devotion to ourselves. Deep pleasure practices, I'm not just talking about sex, the pleasure practices that fill our own cup so that we are both sovereign and discerning and can choose wisely those men that are great men, knowing signs of danger, red flags. We are not taught that. Yeah, we are just bumbling in the dark. We find a lot of the guys who are still wounded, still struggling. What does this say? If we can just move the light a little bit, because we've gotten over, so it's consumed in just this, we need to talk about how awful men are, and then let's just redirect that right now, because I'm going to tell you something about that parenting thing again. If you're always looking at the good stuff and you're shining the light a little brighter on those good things, don't you know your kids actually move in favor of that more often? Same thing in your relationships. If you're really shedding light on all of the beauty and appreciation that you have in your relationship, don't you know that's what builds? Pretty sure you guys have heard the old saying, what you focus on. And that is the same thing here. We're going to start focusing on the amazing things that men do. I would really, really love to hear your comments about how awesome your partner is, how amazing your friends are, the best things that you see in men every single day, how they're stepping up, how they're being authentic, how they're being exceptional in life. We're going to change this paradigm into a new earth and make this a real, beautiful, changed world. Then it's going to take a little bit of us doing things a bit different. And that means just taking the light and navigating it towards more positive means. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to excuse the atrocities that are occurring. But if we put less light on that, then there's less reason for that energy to flow in that direction. We know it's happening. It's happening all the time. What we really want to see is more of the love and devotion and expression. We want to see more of the masculine divinity in life. And if we're going to do that, we're going to need to focus exactly on that. Same thing for the ladies. It's time to come in and own the love that we have for ourselves, learning to fill our own cup, not asking for our partners to be the entire cake and the icing too. That's not what we're here for, ladies. We are here to add to our life, to come in as a whole person, same as men. So we can get to the root of all of this is truly, guys and girls, we have a lot of broken hearts. We have a lot of healing to do, and that's okay. As long as you recognize what's happening within you and get started on moving in that direction, that's called holding yourself accountable and having responsibility to move ourselves in the right direction. I would love to hear your comments about how fantastic your men are. Men, share how fantastic you believe women are too, because the state of this planet depends on how we think, feel, and act.